And welcome to a special edition of Schiffbauer Over Rocks. I'm here with Ryan Dailey and Kelsi Rohrbaugh, owners of Fantasy Axe Throwing in Camp Hill, Pennsylvania.
Thanks for having us.
Oh no, I'm
Yeah.
excited. I feel like
Me
Robert
too.
Baratheon in this chair,
There,
man.
there you go. That's the whole point of the medieval castle.
We're in the House of the Axe room right now. Like, I don't know, you might be able to see the viewers out there, like some of the banners in here. They had this space arted out so well, and the whole layout in general. Like, you guys put a lot of thought and attention into this place.
Yeah, absolutely. We spent a lot of pre-planning on this. The design, everything we did ourselves, the whole idea, and what we wanted to do to execute it. Just took some time, but we got here.
How much time for folks out there, like in terms of like planning a new business venture?
So we started this last May.
Wow.
As when
Okay.
we started, I'd say with the concept idea of doing the axe throwing with the different fantasy themes, and then it came to our design. So we started doing layout and play around with ideas. Then it came to try and find a lease space, which that was the hardest spot. Something that would have the width and the depth that we needed to actually pull off the rooms. So started that process in May. Then October, we actually found a lease space and got into that, and it took us about 8 months to build out. And we did the building ourselves, had some occasional help
Really?
from family and friends.
It's nice
but,
when I know you got a contracting background.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
always
absolutely.
nice.
Yeah, absolutely. That did help, just with the comfort level of some of the activities that had to go on. But I promise you, there was still a lot of roadblocks that were hard to overcome.
People don't imagine too, like when you open up like a new business, it's just like, oh wait, we're open for business. People have no idea how much planning behind the scenes, like hiccups happen.
Yeah.
Stuff you plan for, sometimes things pop up.
Well, we
Yeah.
actually, like, once we found the lease space, we actually had to change our entire layout.
Really?
Because it wasn't as wide as it was supposed to be.
Okay.
So once we finished demo and then we, like, laid it out on the floor, we were like, oh, this is going to be too tight. And then it was like, okay, start
It was-
from scratch.
It's spacious, and we'll have a bunch of clips to showcase it here and later in this episode. But like walking around, like you feel comfortable. Like you can have a lot of groups in here at one time, and like I wouldn't feel claustrophobic.
Yeah, and that was the whole goal, and that's why, like she said, when we did the layout, we walked through ourselves and we're like, it wouldn't have the same feel if you don't expand it out. We were like, we have to change layout,
Yeah.
and that, and obviously this whole thing had to go through the permit process, so that was a big delay for us to get that figured out before being able to submit. So
So I gotta ask, how the hell do you get into like the axe throwing business? Like, what sparked the desire to do this?
I can take that one. So what it was is we have a big passion for immersive experiences, just something different, something fun, and I think it's something that Central PA needs more of. So we were looking at it. We went axe throwing, and they're all kind of the same.
Yeah.
And we're like, how do you take this to the next level? Something that people can walk into and just feel like they're a part of something, more of just a bigger experience. And that's really what brought this to life was the thought of what can you bring community that I call it Disney with axes. So yeah,
He does say that a
yeah,
lot.
I like that.
yeah. So that's really the idea. That's what kind of made us, gave us the passion to really see this thing through.
You guys like had to have an interest in it prior. Like you had to do some throwing.
Oh, we've done some throwing, yeah. Weren't very good until we opened. I'll say that.
Oh,
Yeah,
stop it.
yeah. Once
Oh,
we got some,
we were throwing
yeah,
earlier.
yeah.
He's just like, oh, I'm a little rusty. He's hitting
No.
bullseye
No.
after bullseye.
He
ladies and
lies. There's
gentlemen.
no way. He's never rusty. Every time he throws, it's like bullseye, and you're like,
He's making me feel good. Like I did hit one, folks. Believe it or not, like right almost in the middle. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. No, that was a good throw. I did witness it. He's telling the truth.
Fact check.
Yeah. No, but I'd say we got a lot better once we opened. I'd say when we actually got boards up, which was about 2 weeks before opening, we had spent a lot of time. So when people start coming in, we don't look like fools ourselves. So, but
that was probably the roughest part. It was like we couldn't throw, and you're like spending all these months building, and you're like, man, I'd really just like to throw an axe. And then
Yeah.
and we finally got the boards
Have
up,
some
and
fun.
like he said, it was like 2 weeks prior, and I was like, hey, finally the business.
and then our productivity slowed after that. Once the boards
It
were up,
did.
we're like,
Naturally, like you guys are in
Yeah.
a fun environment.
yeah, I'm like, we're throwing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to make a note. We talked about it off camera. I told you I went axe throwing once. I totally forget what the place was. I told Ryan and Kelsi off camera, I'm like, years ago, and like we'll throw some B-roll on this. Marty's gonna superimpose it. It's just like it was just a board in a room, and like it was kind of podunk. It was
Yeah.
fun, but like I told them like I forgot the name of the place I went because it wasn't truly immersive. It wasn't an experience where like when you see this layout, ladies and gentlemen, it's just like every room's unique, and it's very well intended, like the details you guys put into it.
And that was cool. We wanted something that would flow. Like when you walk in, you're in the forest and you see the walls of the castle. You go through a giant stump into the Viking Tavern, and then through there's actually a sliding bookcase that can open and close in the Warlock layer, just that leads you into that room. So it really was the layout was so important for us to give that like I said, everywhere you look, we want to feel like you're part of something. Yeah.
They have hobbits that pop out too.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Wouldn't that be fun though?
Yeah.
That would be wild.
That's next month.
Gotta rent some little people.
Yeah, there you go.
Being politically correct here.
No.
So why the fantasy theme? I love it personally.
Oh, we're fantasy nerds. I mean, there's no way about
I
it.
was gonna say
Yeah.
for me, it's like fantasy books. For him, it's
All right,
probably
so
like fantasy shows. Like
Movies.
what's
yeah.
your favorite, both of you?
Mine's Lord of the Rings. I mean, I'm a diehard Lord of the Rings nerd, have been since I was a kid. So this kind of worked with that. And then hers.
if it's movies, it's Lord of the
Lord of
Rings.
the Rings.
Yeah, absolutely.
My buddy Brandon, one day he texted me. He's like, "Dude, I watched all 3 Lord of the Rings movies today." I'm like, "So you didn't do anything else?" He's like, "Nope."
No, he didn't even
He
sleep.
watched all
yeah.
3.
If they're extended cut, he's
I
really in
was
for a
gonna
treat.
say.
Yeah.
It's just so cool, like this, the detail of it and all. I mean, how's it being business owners with this? This is a new venture for you guys. I know you have your own business outside of this already, but this is like a whole new kind of like frontier.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say this is definitely something different. There's not really anything like it that you can compare it to. So when we're going into this, it's just like kind of like a new concept of themed axe throwing. So it was nerve-wracking, to actually take the plunge. But once we did it, now that it's done, it's just fulfilling. I mean, that's the best way. When you walk in here and you're like, this is something that you created that, like I said, the community can come into and just feel the stresses go away. Come in, throw axes, have fun. That's the point of this place. Is really just it's fulfilling in that aspect. Seeing people come in, have fun.
So what's been like the most interesting group of people to come in? Like a reason for a celebration or a cause? Have they shared that with you?
Not really. Just more so just people coming in to have fun. I mean, you get big groups. Sometimes you have a lot of dates. This is a great date place, and it's fun seeing the competitiveness.
2 people come in with elf ears.
Elf ear,
Ooh,
yes.
really?
Ears, and they said they wanted to fully dress up next time they come back, so we're pretty excited for that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm like, that I think will be fun. If people start coming in in cosplay and stuff, I'm like, that'll be fun.
You guys might have to tap into that Ren Fair market a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, we've talked about doing cosplay weekends and things like that.
That
so,
would be super cool.
Yeah,
I'm a
absolutely.
huge nerd myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do like the original Star Wars a little more than Lord of the Rings, but
That's okay.
That's fair.
That still works, but I don't have a space room yet. That's the next location.
stop.
Yeah.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about the rooms for people listening out there. What can they experience? I know you got 4, but they're each unique in its own right.
Do you want to take that one?
No, go ahead.
You guys can
right.
trade off a little bit.
All right, a little bit. All
Yeah.
right. So we have the medieval castle. So this is obviously you have the stone walls, and we did go with stone you can touch, you can feel. So everything in the rooms I really want to be fully you can touch, see, and feel like you're transported somewhere else. So this has the thrones. So obviously the winner of the axe throwing, you get to take the throne. I mean, that's really it. Clearly, Paul won.
This one actually changed a lot from when we first talked about how we were gonna do it and what the design was gonna be for this one. And then I think once we got the stone on the wall is when we really were like, okay, we can kind of see it.
Yeah.
And then it went very less, I guess, medieval and more throne room.
Throne room, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm
Yeah.
Game of Thrones right now.
Yeah, Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good way.
exactly. Good way,
Yeah.
yeah. And then you have the Enchanted Forest, which also merges in with Reception, and this is just full greenery in the ceilings, the walls. We have, like I said, tree trunks going up the walls, full wood benches, just everything in there to feel like you're in nature, essentially. And like I said, it's just enchanted. And then in there you have a giant, I call it the giant stump. It's just a big tree trunk that has a doorway to the Viking Tavern. And the Viking Tavern is just, I mean, you want to go throw some axes. That's just a cool space. You just feel like you're in Valhalla. Yeah.
Music. It's literally cool walking in there.
Yeah, exactly. And we do try and keep everything in theme. So even the sounds. So when you're in a different room, and then like I said, Warlock Lair. I mean, I feel like Kelsi should talk on that one. That was her brainchild over there. That she put a lot of work into that.
Yeah, that was, I don't know, Warlock was a fun experience because, like, I knew what I wanted, but then it was, like, bringing that together, trying to explain to everybody, because then, like, we'd get the bookshelf and they'd be like, okay, I'm like, I'm going to paint it black. Are you sure you want it black? Yes. I'm sure I want it black. And then it's like the floor. Are you sure you shouldn't do, like, maybe a dark gray? No, black. Like, that was the whole thing in the room. Everyone kept going, are you sure? I'm like, I'm sure. And then it was like, it finally came together. And I think, like, especially with the way the ceiling lights up, I think that was when everyone was like, oh, okay, I see it now. And I'm like, thank you.
We were practicing some axe throwing before this.
Yeah, and even the warlock. So there's a warlock in there too.
That
you can set off. Yeah, that you set off, and he'll talk as you come in.
That was my favorite part. I was like, I want him to move. I was like, it has to move. Like, it's not the same if he doesn't move.
Yeah, so I had to throw some animatronics in there. That's really it.
It's just Disney.
Yeah, exactly. With axes, No, and that I'd say that room there, just with the lit up ceiling, when you throw and hit a bullseye, and the lightning strikes up on the ceiling. I mean, just everything in there is so interactive in a way with you as a thrower. That just makes that such a cool interactive room. And I think throughout the whole construction process, because I mean, this whole project is self-funded. I mean, it is big risk, obviously, taking. Yeah. It's not something that it's more niche right now, making mainstream. But we want to make sure we did it right. Like that was our biggest thing throughout this. Like I said, the real stone walls, there are cheaper options. Like throughout everything in here, there's always cheaper options. And we're like, we want people to walk in here and feel like it's real.
I was super impressed when I walked through and gave you a tour.
And that's probably the most exciting part is when people walk in and they're just like, you see their face light up and they're excited about it. And you're like, okay, it was all like, it all came together. Because like, even in here, it was much more straightforward because like the stone was a lot. But it was like, okay, like stone is stone. You buy stone, you put on, like, you know what you're doing. In like forest especially, it was kind of like, okay, how do we make it feel like a forest? And it was like, okay, get real logs and put them on the wall. And like there was no like, okay,
there's no half-assing here.
There wasn't. No. And that's for our own expectations of ourselves in this venture. We just had to make sure we hit that mark.
To me, and that's what really I think makes entrepreneurs. It's just like, if you're gonna go all the way.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who just leave things on the table. It's just like 80-20 approach. Who are you going to be if you're going to go like that last 20% to make it perfect? Yeah. For like your audience and like customers coming in.
Yeah. And that was our whole goal through this, because like you talk and you look at things and you're like, well, we could do this. We're like, we can't. We have to do it right, and make it happen. Just so, like I said, you get those reactions, like Kelsi said, when people walk in, they're like, wow, this is here in Central PA. And it's like, exactly.
You don't see in this area often, folks. This is something that you might see in Philly or New York, not even necessarily those places.
Yeah.
It's like, it's really could be, and I really truly believe it will be a destination place.
Yeah.
Even if you don't, like I've never thought, axe throwing, but no, it's an experience.
It is, yeah. And I think for us, the most rewarding thing, at least for me, is you see people who've never thrown axes before, and they start throwing like, oh, I'm not going to get this, not going to get this. Then after about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, they start hitting it. And when you get the first thud, and when you get that thud in, it's a good feeling.
I was rocking when I hit them with a bullseye, folks, earlier.
Yeah, and then you get to the point where they're like, oh, I'm ready to play some games and stuff like that and compete with the other people and things like that, the other people in their party. And then they just end up having a good time. Because once you find that sweet spot, and it takes sometimes to get there, once you find it, you're just nailing it, and it just becomes a really fun activity for even new throwers.
Yeah, you got points on the board. I asked Ryan off camera, like, so what kind of games can you play? Like, you were saying, like 21.
Yeah, 21, which is exactly 21. And if you go over, you can come back down, or 21 or bust is always fun because it makes it really competitive. You have around the world. We have a lot of games, and we have coaches in every room that keep points for you. We'll go over the games just so that you don't have to worry about anything, but having fun, throwing axes. We'll keep your points. It's really just so you can come in here. Don't worry about anything. That's the whole point of what we're trying to do here.
Yeah, that's an even added layer, which like I didn't know until you told me. I'm like, that's super cool.
Yeah.
You literally, like, if you want to get competitive, someone's keeping score.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
To hear.
And I think everyone's favorite game, everyone's always excited to play Four Corners because they're like, it's very straightforward. You just hit all four corners, and nobody so far has hit all four corners, I don't think. Right?
Oh, yeah, like, I see right there.
Yeah.
We'll get a zoom in at some point, but like that's... Yeah, no, there's no way.
Yeah.
I think the most we've had is somebody hit 2.
I had one person get all 4,
Oh, okay.
but that's all they did the entire time because they were determined that they had to get all
They're
4.
like, I'm going to be the person to do it.
And then I had one who's like, I'm going to get all 4 corners with different axes because we do have 3 different axes here. That way, people can find what they're comfortable with. Different throwing styles, different weights, things like that. That way, there's a little bit something for everybody to find their rhythm.
It's like almost like, folks, like Ryan was giving me the rundown. It's like almost like bowling. You have different bowling ball sizes, like weights and like whatnot, like what you're comfortable with. I'm like, I didn't know this was like this much of like a subculture.
Yeah.
In terms of like what went into it, I thought it was just an accident.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing that we've been working on too, and when I say about new throws and things, is people get nervous, like, oh, axe throwing, and they think it's dangerous. When you bring up bowling, I'm like, it is very similar to bowling. If you go bowling, you can throw axes. There's really not that hidden danger just because it's axes. It's very much the same. You throw it down lane. We created great cushioning systems, things like that in our lanes. That way, you're not going to get axe flying back and things like that. If it
ricochets, like you have enough room where you're good.
You're going. It's going to drop into the mulch pit, and like I said, it's actually a really safe activity. So
you two, like you started this as a passion.
Yeah.
I know this is going to be released later this summer, so this is your first summer open.
Yeah.
What's your hopes for this venture?
We really want just, like I said, the community to obviously get really involved and come to this place, have a good time. That's where we really like seeing the fulfillment of what it does for the people coming in, blow off the steam, get in here. That's what I want to see. And obviously, if it does, gain traction, and we'd love to open more of these in different locations.
Really?
Obviously, absolutely.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
We've actually talked a decent bit about expansion plans. Like if we get there, we're like, okay, we know pretty much what we want to do, and
you've already done it once, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely.
And each location will probably have different themes. Like we'll probably,
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
So we're, I think, excited for that too if that comes.
Yeah.
BYOB is pretty nice, folks.
Yeah.
Yes, it is definitely BYOB.
So I'm not just drinking this to drink. I know this is like normal format. You would expect this, but like.
Oh, yeah.
This is cool where you just slam a couple beers. A little risky, but you have to sign a safety waiver.
Yeah. But like I said, no, it's BYOB, and even outside food and drink, really, like I said, this space is for people to come in, enjoy. Don't worry about anything else. You don't have to worry. Bring a pizza. Bring whatever you want. Just have fun. That's really it. It's a venue for people.
I love you told me the story. I'm going to bring it up.
Yeah.
Off camera. It's like someone suggested like putting photos on the axe boards.
Yeah.
For like a party.
Yeah, absolutely. She's gotten some inquiries on that one.
Yeah. Well, and I think like you said, like you mentioned divorce parties and like things like that.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, could I put the photo on the board and throw it that? And it's like, well, it's not like you can't.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. And like I said, there's just so much opportunity here for people to have different types of fun here. I mean, that's really it's like throwing axes, but it's not limited to that. I mean, it's really a area for people to just come, have fun, throw pictures on the wall that you want to throw at, things like that. There's so many different things you can do. Bridal parties, things like that. Just gender reveals.
Gender
reveals.
That would be great.
It would exactly. Like I said. And our thing is we're not too, I don't say suit and tie. We're just not. We want people to come here, and it's like, what experience do you want? That's what I always say. Is like, what experience do you want when you come here? So if you come in throne room, you want to move the thrones around? You want to sit somewhere else? Go for it. Just move it. Do what you want here, safely. but that's the point. Is like we like to accommodate people so that when they come here, they really have a fulfilling time themselves.
How many times did you throw axes before you were like, all right, we're going to start a business? I know we touched on it earlier, getting into there was interest.
Twice?
Yeah.
Get out of here!
Twice.
You guys were that sold.
Yeah, we were that sold. We were sold on. So what we wanted this. There was ideas of having axe throwing and escape rooms for both. But like I said, when we did the layout and space, we wanted, like I said, we lean more into the axe throwing. More people can come in and enjoy that activity. So that's kind of what we leaned into. And what it was is really about the immersiveness. I can't explain enough with our passion. Yeah, we love axe throwing. It's a fun activity and things like that. But creating such an immersive environment, like almost like an entertainment place, is really what this place aspires to be.
I was talking to my business partner just last night.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, this will be dated once it airs, but we're like talking about like throwing a networking event. You go to like these networking events. I don't know if y'all been to any, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they're so blah 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 blah. It's like, hey, how are you? How you
Yeah,
doing?
yeah,
You know?
exactly.
It's just like, why don't I have something like a baseball game,
Yeah,
or like,
absolutely.
and then like put a twist on it, or do a tour of like a restaurant, like immersive venue.
Yeah.
Why not? I might have to.
I
Take
say,
you up on something.
I was gonna say, might as well here. I mean, this is great for networking.
I'm like,
Throw some
now.
axes. Maybe we'll even do a dating event where singles can come in, get to know each other by throwing axes. I mean, like I said, this
That
place.
would be perfect for like February time period, like late January,
Yeah.
February.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And that's what it is. This place is built for so many different things, different types of events. It really is just, and that's why I wanted to make sure we had the space.
Mm-hmm.
That really is. You can come in and use it to your will.
So I got a question, and we're gonna throw some axes here in a few, ladies and gentlemen. But like for folks out there, you guys went out on a whim, essentially.
Yeah.
This is a passion you guys are chasing. It's fun. You had a plan. You're entrepreneurs already in your own right.
Yeah.
What would you say to folks out there where like if they have a crazy idea and passion, like do you chase it? Like
You have to do it. I mean, it's so easy to over-analyze it to the point where you don't do anything. And that's the point I think we both were just like, let's stop talking and just do it. Like that was really it. It was such a quick thing where we're like, you can talk yourself out, find every reason not to do something, and you just have to go for it. That's really it.
Well, Ryan and Kelsi, before we go throw some axes on camera, any last words right now while we're in the throne room?
Yeah. Come to Fantasy Axe Throwing and have a good time. No. Again, appreciate you having us on the podcast. But
Well, your brother
really just
did a solid.
Yeah, he did.
Shout
he
out
did
to
get some good-
Preston. He texted me middle of the night. Not middle of the night. It was like evening.
I would have believed middle of the night.
Yeah.
It was like 9, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, there you go.
Yo. I'm like, what's up? Like, I already know, like, when someone's like, yo, there's like something, like an ask or request.
Yeah.
He's like, my brother has got an axe throwing business. He's like, would you want to come up and like shoot something? I'm like, yeah.
Like,
Duh.
absolutely. Yeah. No, and we're glad you did. So.
Oh, no, I'm having
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, absolutely. You're gonna throw some accents, have a lot more fun.
Oh, yeah, we'll get to it.
Yeah.